Hey, welcome to Having a Catch. My guest tonight is a friend of mine that I met about 18 months ago, Jenny Russak. Jenny, how are
Hey,
you
sweet.
tonight?
Hey, great to see you, Joey. If you guys can believe it, this is actually the first time Joey and I are actually interacting face to face and having a conversation. So, welcome to our first conversation. I'm excited to be here. Thanks, Joey.
Now, Jenny, share with the viewers how we met.
Well, I can't believe it was 18 months ago, but around the time that COVID really hit, I started working from home. And I started to feel this like itch, like, I don't know, I want to do something fun, kind of a hobby type of thing. And I happened upon the world of TikTok. And yes, I'm over the age of 40, so technically not allowed to be on that platform, but nonetheless, I found my way in there and started to do some kind of goofball videos. And that's where I started to see you, Joey. I think the algorithm mashed us up together because we were doing some similar stuff. And that's technically how we met. It was an online relationship. That's for sure.
I still remember the first. For those of you that don't use TikTok, I actually joined right around the same time Jenny did, out of boredom, not leaving my house.
Yeah.
The first video that I saw you do, Jenny, the site actually took the sound down. It
Yeah.
was and this isn't it's not a family show, but we're not gonna swear every night here. But it was
Okay.
the
Fair.
fuck you Ezekiel video. Do you remember that one?
I absolutely remember. That was the first video that I did that I actually really loved. And I honestly, that was like the catalyst where I'm like, oh, I could have some real fun with this. But much in the same vein of a lot of the videos I do, the ones that I like the best are usually pretty eclectic, and most people don't find that funny. And I would actually put that video in that category as well. So that's when I knew you and I were going to be friends, Joey, because I was like, oh man, he's leaning into the weird ones, and I like that about you for sure. But yes, I remember that one very well.
I like, and I might even post that later tonight. But I like how at the end, even though you're lip syncing, it looks like you got a little bashful at the end, like, oh, I can't believe I'm
Yeah.
I'm lip syncing to this.
No, it's funny how those TikTok shoots. I mean, sadly it can take like an hour or two to really get that where I want it and to have that comic timing be right. But yeah, it's one of those things where I do kind of feel like I'm living and breathing it when I'm in the middle of shooting those TikToks for sure. I probably was embarrassed. That's probably the truth.
And I am still waiting very patiently for because you've had your husband in one or two of your TikToks. I'm
Yeah.
waiting for him to come up with his own account where he's just reacting to your TikToks.
Yeah. Well, my husband is a funny guy. We've actually been together over 20 years now, and he definitely has the eye roll approach to my TikTok. He's like, "What are you doing?" But yeah, I like to use him as fodder sometimes because of that. So yeah, he'll make some appearances every now and then, but it is forced. That's for sure. So if you see him in there, you know I've caught him. I think one time, Joey, he actually did a dance. My entire family, I made, I think it was for my birthday. I was like, for my birthday, you guys need to all do a dance. So all of my family is in one of the videos, but it's hard to get my husband involved.
I gotta find that one because
Yeah.
I'm telling you, the guy could be a TikTok superstar with him just kind of eye rolling.
Just going like, what is she doing now? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. He
I
could.
I admittedly, I don't know if I've found my voice on that app yet. I love it.
Mhm.
Like, I'll be honest, I probably spend way too much time watching videos and
Oh my
rewatching
gosh.
stuff, liking stuff,
Me
but
too.
I don't know what I'm doing on there. Like, am I trying to be funny? Is it just the baseball stuff? I still got to figure that out. I
Right.
actually have an idea. I actually work overnights at Dollar Tree. I
Nice.
when the truck comes in, I just stock the whole store and listen to loud music. And I have this idea uh, for TikToks where I basically do reviews on stuff that I've never bought.
Please do that. I'm telling you right now, the one video that I did, because I think both of you and I are always trying to crack, well, what's our thing, right? Everybody has a moment on TikTok or a concept, and they kind of exploit it and do the same thing over and over again. And I thought, well, what's that thing? And just recently, I did my first review video. For me, I'm all about the comedy. That's what I'm there for. That's what my tagline is. It's like comedy above all else. So my review was comedy based. It was a review of Great Wolf Lodge. If anybody's ever been there, you'll know it's a complete zoo, and I call it sensory homicide. But it was a short-lived review, and it was basically no. I'm not doing that ever again. And that actually went really pretty viral. So I like this concept of let's just kind of take benign things that everybody can relate to and give it a little bit of a funny twist on a review. I support you 100%. In fact, I would love to join you. We could do some duets regarding the reviews from the dollar store. That has fodder. I think even like stalking that dollar store, like it's interesting to me how even just a peek behind the curtain into somebody else's life is so fascinating. And it doesn't have to be anything dynamic or exciting. It's just like, man, oh, I didn't know that's how they did that. So I support you with that, Joey. I think that's a good idea.
It's going to happen now. Now I have like about 10 or 12
Yeah.
different ideas. And
Yeah.
if this is how I become famous, not this talk show, but the Dollar Tree reaction videos, then I will give you full credit.
Okay. Yeah, good. Well, and I think too, I could see some hilarity ensuing when you don't really know what the product is and you're trying to figure out how you would use this. But yeah, I think there's some gold in them there hills for sure.
Now, speaking of work, you work for iHeart.
I do. Yeah.
Tell us what you do for iHeart. That sounds like a lot of fun.
It is fun. You know, sometimes I forget it's very stressful. So sometimes I forget that I do have a fun job. Yeah, I work for the Rockies region, which is really the state of Colorado. But I sell digital media. So any ads that you're seeing on TikTok or Facebook or Instagram, that's what I'm out there selling for iHeartMedia. And it's you know, I started that job when I was too old to start this job, but I was about 29 when I started working with iHeart, and I was making $10 an hour, popping tents out at the Cinco de Mayo festivals and the Broncos games and all that stuff. And really just kind of was in the right place at the right time. My boss one day walked in and said, "We have to start selling digital." And I was like, "What does that mean? Like, what's digital, or what do we sell, or what happens?" And, you know, 15 short years later, here we are, you know, making lots of money selling those types of products. So yeah, it's fun. I get really close. Like I sell podcast ads to the Broncos, which I know you're a baseball guy, Joey, but my heart is in football for sure. And as soon as I got a job where I could even just touch the Broncos, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm in heaven. So that's one of the biggest perks for sure.
Who's your favorite all-time Bronco to touch?
Oh my God. If I ever look, I'm sorry, and this is going to be very basic, but I have been in the presence of John Elway 2 times, and I could not speak to him. I had so many things I wanted to say to him. Mainly, I wanted to like grab his butt because I just think he's so cute. And even as he ages, I'm fine with it. So no, John Elway's my boy. I've actually had the privilege of working directly with like Ed McCaffrey and really fun people like that on advertising campaigns. But I mean, I'm sorry. We have the pinwheel hit to win the Super Bowl. This is coming from a girl who sat through all of their Super Bowl losses, and there were so many, and had my heart broken so many times. So to be able to see him win that trophy, one of the best moments of my life, very seriously. So yeah, so John Elway for sure.
John Elway, actually, I was only 9 years old. He actually broke my heart on 3 different occasions because I'm a Browns fan.
Oh, no. Well, the
Broncos,
drive.
Yeah.
The drive.
Yeah. They beat us, I think, 3 out of 4 years in the AFC Championship game. And I think 2 of those games were in Denver. 1 was in Cleveland. So I, too, would probably cry if I saw John Elway for different reasons.
For different reasons. Yeah. Well, I take it, though, if you are a Cleveland Browns fan, you've probably gotten used to a little bit of pain in your yearly life. So I'm sorry that it had to come at the hands of the Broncos a couple times, but yeah.
Yeah, being a Browns fan is like they'll push. They've been pushing me down the stairs for 40 years, and I
Mhm.
just tell people that I fell.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
That's nice.
abusive.
Yeah. Well, and why do you make me hit you? It's that type of a
Yeah,
feeling. Yeah. Mhm. I get
yeah,
it.
it's not
I get
good.
it. Yeah. No, I'm lucky to genuinely live in a fantastic sports state. So I mean, if I get bored of the Broncos, which I never will, I'm an avid sports bettor too. But yeah, it's tough to frown at the Rockies, the Nuggets, the Avalanche. We've got some good teams out here, so I'll take it. I wish the Rockies could get into into the playoffs and a little bit more often, but we shall see.
And you've met. I think we've talked about this in the past. You've met some of the Rockies through some different things you've
Yeah.
done.
I work with the Rockies. So I'm they place media with me. So I work pretty closely with the team and the Momforts. The higher up crew is the folks that I'm chatting with. But I've seen the players. I mean, again, it's kind of an unwritten rule as part of my job. Like, you don't talk to the players like fans. Like, you gotta conduct yourself somewhat professionally, like get out there. So usually one of two things happens. Either I'm able to keep a safe distance, which I usually am from the Rockies players, or if it's a Broncos event, we have some events in the locker room and we get to see the players. I will sometimes invite myself out of that because I'm mature enough to understand when I can and cannot handle something. And usually that's one of those occasions.
Now, as an employee of iHeart, do you guys have? I'm sure you have like a career board, where like on your website, apply for jobs and such. Are you
Oh
guys
yeah,
looking for baseball content creators that just
do
kind of
it.
sit at their desk and create fake stuff?
All day long. I love it. Not only that, but have you ever thought, Joey? I mean, have you ever thought about broadcasting for baseball? I mean, what an incredible career that I could see you just smashing.
We'll have to look into it. I
We'll
have
have
to
to
be
see.
more. When we met, actually, I think you were one of 60 people within this group, and now we're at like 1,200.
Look at you. I love that. I love that group too. It's very everybody's really engaged. So you've got something there, man.
Yeah, it's fun. I just it's not now, but I would say during the season, I'm probably putting in about 3 hours a night, and it's
Mhm.
all of it's after midnight.
Oh, poor thing. But I believe it. I mean, even I post on. I should need to be posting a lot more, but I post on TikTok maybe once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks, and that is very time consuming and a lot of work. So I give you credit for putting the time in because that's what it takes to grow this kind of stuff.
All right, so we're going to get to the point now. You and I have been talking about this pretty much since we met. We both love Saturday Night Live. I
It's
want to
my
ask
passion.
you, what do you think about this current cast?
It's so funny because both you and I have lived through horrific casts, right? Where I still loved Saturday Night Live. Like, I mean, even when the casts were terrible, and I'm thinking even Anthony Michael Hall, all the way through, there was some weird Adam Sandler years in there. But even when I don't like the cast, I always loved the show. And there's always something I can pull out of it from every cast member. But I have to say, in the last, I would say 3 or 4 years, I think we've been really spoiled because it's taken a while for me to go, damn, I laughed at every single skit leading up to the skit after the news. And I mean, it's been really years before that I was able to say that. So one of the best casts of all time, I would be willing to throw out there. I mean, when you think about the number of people, Adie Bryant, Kate McKinnon, everybody that we have there now. I mean, even your minor players, even your featured players are brilliant. I just think we're living in one of the best eras of Saturday Night Live possibly ever. So I feel very spoiled to be watching right now. I think it's great. I love it. I love all the cast members.
Who are some of your favorite cast members of all time?
Joey, what's so funny about this is I have had a TikTok in my drafts probably since I started TikTok. So probably when we first met. about my top 20 cast members of all time. Like, it's very important to me, and it changes. And like, I have little nuances of all, of all of that. But I will tell you that my number one almost never has changed throughout that entire thought process. And my number one forever and always will be Phil Hartman, rest in peace. Because for me, look, obviously my top three: Will Ferrell, Chris Farley, Phil Hartman, right? My Will Ferrells and my Chris Farleys are just two of the funniest people that have ever lived. Like, they're just legendary comedians. But the reason why I put Phil Hartman number one is because he is the penultimate Saturday Night Live player, in my opinion. He was the everyman. If he's on screen, you're laughing, right? That's the case with Farley and Farrell too. But if Phil Hartman's on screen, you're laughing. I think he had a sophistication to his humor and a wit to his humor. I want to be Phil Hartman when I grow up. That he's just my dream. So those are my top three of all time. I will tell you, I really don't like the fact that I don't have a female in my top three. So I've bounced around quite a bit with people like, obviously Gilda Radner has to be in the conversation. But, also people like Kate McKinnon and some of our newer, featured players, they start to really enter my mind. And when I see the body of their work, I go, those guys got to be in the top five for sure. So, I bounce around, but I have a real sweet spot for the Phil Hartman cast. And so really that entire cast is really up there in that top 10 typically for me.
Well, I have an idea for a future show. If you're into
let's
this.
do it.
Now, this is not baseball related, and a lot of people are watching thinking like, I thought this was a baseball show. Well, hey, I'm wearing a Rockies hat, so everyone calm down. Here's my idea, Jenny.
Okay.
There have been about 150 cast members in the history of the show.
Oh, let's do it.
Here's what we're going to do. I'm just going to go alphabetically. We're going to name them, and then we're going to rank them.
Yes.
So like if I say like, 80 Bryant, and then the next one I say is Beck Bennett, he's either higher or lower.
Yes.
And then after we get through 150, we're going to figure out who the best, who the worst was.
We're going to know.
Well, like and I like that too.
I like that too, because we're both going to have separate lists. So we'll be able to compare our two lists and then create the master list. Because between you and me, who better to know about Saturday Night Live cast members? I would believe you and I are the experts in this field.
And we'll kind of wrap on this because I know that they're not watching. Who would you say right now off the top of your head would be probably 150?
Oh gosh. I hated Anthony Michael Hall. I just thought he was terrible. I would want to. That's a harder question, by the way, than who's in the top 10. But I guess by default I would put Anthony Michael Hall in there just because every time he came on the screen I was upset. But I guarantee you there's some little bit featured players. Oh, like Ellen Cleghorn. What the hell was she doing ever? Like, I never understood her. There's certain actors like that on the show that I just never understood anything that they ever did. Never laughed at them. Ellen Cleghorn, Anthony Michael Hall. I could come up with probably 10 more to give you on that list.
All right. So you guys watching right now, stay tuned. In the next 6 months or so, Jenny and I are going to rank every single cast member. We might even rank every sketch.
I think we need to.
It's going to have to be an all-nighter. Jenny?
We need to service our community here, Joey, and I think it's important.
It has to happen.
It does. I agree.
All right. So two things we've learned tonight. One is that we have a 8 to 10 hour show scheduled in the next 12 months with Jenny coming back.
Yep.
And
get excited.
I get to work on those Dollar Tree TikToks probably tonight or tomorrow.
I can't wait to watch that. That I'm going to look forward to. Yes. Okay. Very good. Jenny, well, hey, thanks for having me on. I feel so special.
Thank you for having a catch with me. And next week, I'll actually be announcing next week's show tomorrow. So that'll be next week, January 25th, because of course it is January 18th tonight.
Time has flown. Yes.
2022. How were your holidays, by the way?
Oh, they were lovely. We made the dire error of deciding we would celebrate both Hanukkah and Christmas. And so we have 2 kids. And as a result of that, we are fully bankrupt by the time we hit January. But beyond that, lovely.
Mine were excellent too, especially, I mean, boy, the 29th of December, the magic that happened. Everyone knows what I'm talking about, right? The 29th, right?
Beautiful. Well, the 29th will be a day that lives in infamy. I can tell you that much.
Just an
Yes.
incredible day.
Incredible.
All right. Well, Jenny, thanks for being here tonight. We're going to see you again in the future. Everyone watching, have a great night, and we'll see you tomorrow in the Utopian Cafe at 5:30 Central.